That's sacrifice. That's taking up your cross. It's hard for me as a dad to fathom the cost of this man following Christ. Because, you know, those years with your kids, you don't get those back. This was the cost. This was the cross that this pastor was willing to bear. Now you should know that there is a terrific win in the suffering that comes from following Jesus. Listen to these words. This is Paul writing to the church at Rome. And Paul was well acquainted with suffering from Jesus. Paul writes, "The Spirit himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. Now, if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, if indeed we share in his sufferings, in order that we may also share in his glory. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Something to remember when you're going through a difficult thing because you are following Christ, or when you are sensing the call to give something up because you are following Christ. Each of us has to consider the cost of following Jesus and decide whether or not we're going to be a disciple of Jesus. And the cost of discipleship is paid in many kinds of currency. For some, it's a redirection of time and energy. For others, it's a change in vocation. For yet others, it is a commitment of financial resources. But for each person, the call to discipleship is all-consuming. A complete change in priorities is required of all would-be disciples. Our priorities simply must be different than that of the culture around us. No part-time disciples are needed. No partial commitments are accepted. Jesus was looking for people to be all in. In Luke's Gospel, after Jesus teaches the crowds, that's in Luke 14, we move to a different setting. This was Luke 15. Now the tax collectors and the sinners are gathered around Jesus. And the scribes and the Pharisees, they're off in the corner grumbling, overhearing this. Grumbling about how Jesus welcomes sinners and eats with them. And then Jesus tells them this story about 100 sheep. 100 sheep, and one of them goes missing. And Jesus says, which one of you wouldn't leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one that's missing? You and I are that missing sheep. And this table reminds us of the cost to God the Father and God the Son of rescuing us missing sheep. The cost was incredible, and the sacrifice was God's own Son. And you were worth it. And this table is also for us a taste of the heavenly banquet that is set for us. Jesus talks, when he talks about that 100 sheep, one goes missing, he talks about when that sheep is found, it's party time. Woo-hoo, we're going to celebrate, right? Because number 100 was lost, now is found. Jesus also talks then about the joy in heaven over one sinner who repents. That's you. Or it can be. And that's me. Can you imagine how the heavenly banquet, there's a big banner there, and your name's on it. Your name's on it. You are a reason for the party. It's to celebrate you. That's picked up in this table too. Jesus counted the cost and paid the price. Such is his love for you. Receive that love. Celebrate that love. And follow the one who loves you so.